All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling Bitcoin.
Ooh, yeah.
But like more specifically, will it hit $100,000?
The magic number,
Right. Everyone wants to know.
everyone.
So we're looking at this article from Crypto Blogs back from March 2024.
Okay.
It's called Bitcoin Surge. Will it break the $100K barrier?
Catchy.
Right. And even though it's a few months old now, the stuff in it, still really relevant.
For sure.
So have you ever thought about Bitcoin hitting $100,000?
I mean, who hasn't?
Right.
It's like the dream, right?
A total.
Like the article, it talks about how Bitcoin was already surging earlier this year in early 2024.
Yeah, it hit over $70,000 in March.
Wild, right.
Crazy.
And they say a big reason for that was like the Bitcoin spot ETF getting approved.
Can you explain what that is? I mean, for those of us who,
Oh, absolutely.
don't eat and breathe this stuff.
So basically, a Bitcoin spot ETF, it lets these big institutional investors, like the huge investment firms, they can trade Bitcoin on regular stock exchanges.
Oh, I see.
Before, it was tricky for them, right? The rules were all murky,
Yeah.
and the ways to invest not really made for them.
So this ETF, it kind of made it like legitimate.
Exactly. Familiar, regulated, all that.
So they all piled in.
They did, big time.
The article said over $577 million went into these ETFs.
Yeah. And that's just like the beginning, right?
That's huge.
That's crazy.
But that's all in the past, right? This is early 2024.
Right.
Where do things go from here?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Literally, maybe. Well, the article, it talks about two big things driving the price: market demand and macro trends.
Okay, so starting with like market demand, we
Yeah.
talked about institutional investors, right? Hedge funds, those guys,
Mm-hmm.
they started getting into Bitcoin like really seriously.
And they have like way more money than regular people.
Oh, yeah, deep pockets.
Right. And people pay attention to what they do.
Because it's like they bring credibility, right? And that attracts even more investors.
It's a snowball effect.
Totally snowballing demand.
Okay, so that's demand. But what about those macro trends? I always hear that term.
So macro trends, they're like the big picture stuff happening in the world, economics, politics. They can totally mess with the markets.
So like the crypto winter back in 2022.
Exactly. Prices tanked.
Yeah.
But then that actually, and this might sound weird, but it can make Bitcoin look even better to some people.
Wait, what? How does that work?
Okay, so think about it. Bitcoin, it's decentralized, right?
Meaning?
No government controls it,
Right.
and there's only a certain amount of it that will ever exist.
Yeah. Okay.
So when things are kind of shaky, like with inflation and stuff,
People get nervous.
yeah, and some people, they start seeing Bitcoin like a safe haven, almost like digital gold.
Digital gold.
Yeah, like gold's been valuable forever, right?
Yeah, it's always been a safe bet.
Same idea with Bitcoin, at least for some people.
So when regular money seems risky, Bitcoin starts looking good.
Yeah. You got it.
I never thought of it like that. It was like an insurance policy against the world going crazy.
In a way, yeah.
Interesting. Do you think that's a fair comparison, though? Bitcoin to gold?
It's a comparison people make a lot, and it's not, like, totally wrong,
Okay.
but Bitcoin's still pretty new compared to gold, right?
True.
So who knows how it'll act in the long run?
It's a gamble.
Kinda, yeah.
But the whole idea of Bitcoin is like a safe haven when everything else is going nuts, that's gaining traction, huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It does make you think about Bitcoin differently, for sure. So we've got this whole situation, right? ETF approval, more people wanting Bitcoin, and then the whole world being a bit unpredictable.
Right, it's a recipe for, well, something.
Yeah, and it's all pushing the price up.
Yeah.
But before we get too excited, let's, think about what this means for someone listening right now
Okay.
who might be like, should I invest in Bitcoin?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta be careful with crypto, right?
It's risky.
Super volatile, even with all this good stuff happening, no guarantees with Bitcoin.
Yeah, it could crash tomorrow. Who knows?
Exactly. And the article, it basically says, like, trying to predict what the price will do in the short term,
Yeah.
it's impossible, even when things seem good.
So even though everyone's excited about Bitcoin, we got to stay level-headed.
Totally. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Right.
And remember, they wrote this article during, like, a possible bull run.
When everything was going up?
Yeah, and things change fast in crypto.
Oh, yeah?
Like global politics, the economy, what governments do, all that can mess with Bitcoin's price.
So many factors.
It's a whole ecosystem, tons of risk.
You got to look at the bigger picture, not just the price going up.
For sure.
Well, speaking of the bigger picture, let's look ahead, way ahead.
Okay.
What if Bitcoin actually hits $100,000?
Ooh, that's the fun part.
Right. What happens then? What would that do to the world?
The article talks about 3 possible consequences.
Okay, hit me.
Number 1, more people around the world would start using Bitcoin.
Like everyone. My grandma.
Maybe not grandma, but like businesses, governments, regular people using it to buy stuff.
Wow. Bitcoin at the grocery store.
Right. That would be wild.
Totally different world.
Yeah, like reaching $100,000, it could be the moment everyone finally accepts Bitcoin.
Like, it's not just for, like, tech people anymore.
Exactly. It'd be legit part of the global financial system.
It already has a market cap of, like, what, $2 trillion?
Yeah, think about that. $2 trillion.
That's like all the Bitcoin out there added up, right?
Exactly, the total value.
But, like, what does that even mean? $2 trillion.
It means Bitcoin is already a huge deal. And if it hits $100,000, that market cap will be insane.
Wow.
Even more investors, maybe even governments will jump in.
So it'll become even more stable.
Possibly, yeah. Clearer rules, more innovation. It'd be like...
A whole new financial universe. Okay, I'm seeing it, but what's the second impact? Besides everyone using Bitcoin, I mean,
DeFi.
DeFi 2.0.
Yeah. Decentralized finance.
Oh, right.
Basically, it's like recreating all the financial stuff we do now.
Banks, loans, all that.
Yeah, but without the banks.
What?
Blockchain technology, the same tech behind Bitcoin.
So no more middleman.
Right, more transparent, more accessible.
I like that, but isn't DeFi already a thing?
It is. It's growing super fast, like over $70 billion locked in already.
Wow.
But it's still early. There are problems like it's not easy to use for everyone.
Not ready for prime time yet.
Kinda, yeah.
So how does this Bitcoin surge, like, change DeFi?
Okay, imagine $100,000 Bitcoin. Tons of money pouring into DeFi.
Oh, I see.
More developers, more investors, everyone wants in.
So DeFi gets better?
Way better. DeFi 2.0, it's like...
Upgrade.
Exactly. New apps, easier to use, more secure, more efficient.
So DeFi could, like, really change how we use money.
It could, yeah, like a revolution.
Wow, okay, that's 2 big impacts. What's the third one?
This one's a bit trickier. It could create a bunch of new cryptocurrency billionaires.
Whoa, wait, so Bitcoin makes you rich?
Not that simple. There's still a ton of risk.
Right.
But if Bitcoin hits $100,000, a lot of early investors, they'll be swimming in money.
Wow.
So, yeah, new billionaires.
How would that change things? I mean, billionaires have a lot of power.
It's hard to say. It could be good. They could invest in cool stuff, help people.
Right.
But it could also make inequality worse, create new problems.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we've got global adoption,
Yeah.
DeFi 2.0, and a bunch of new billionaires.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's like Bitcoin hitting $100,000 would change everything.
It would be a massive shift, no doubt.
But we're still just speculating, right?
Of course, the article doesn't give us any guarantees.
And who knows what will actually happen with Bitcoin.
That's unpredictable.
True, but even if it doesn't hit $100,000, all these questions are still fascinating.
Totally. It makes you think about the future of money, technology, everything.
This article, it's like a window into a different world.
It is, yeah, a world where Bitcoin is a much bigger deal.
And we get to decide how we feel about that world.
Exactly, and how we want to be a part of it.
It's like we've got this map to uncharted territory.
I like that.
We've seen the potential, the good and the bad.
But the path we choose, that's up to each of us.
Yeah, it is wild to think about, like, what a $100,000 Bitcoin would do to the world economy. I mean, even if it doesn't get there, just talking about it shows how important Bitcoin's become.
It really does, right? Like, it's crazy how this idea, this tech, could change everything.
Speaking of the article, it came out back in March when the market was, well,
Different, yeah.
totally different. So what did they say about Bitcoin actually reaching $100,000? Back then, I mean,
They were pretty optimistic, you know, pointing to all the stuff we talked about.
yeah, demand, all that.
Yeah, but they didn't, like, make any promises.
No guarantees.
And don't forget, this was before the market kind of went downhill recently.
Oh, right.
So take it with a grain of salt, you know?
So no crystal ball, huh?
No crystal ball, just educated guesses.
But let's imagine, just for fun, Bitcoin hits $100,000.
Okay.
What would you do, our listener, I mean? Would you buy Bitcoin? Be excited, freaked out.
It'd be huge, that's for sure.
Right.
But how it affects you, like, personally, it depends, right?
On your situation.
Yeah, how much risk you're comfortable with, your financial goals, all that.
That's like, we've seen this possible future, but what we do in that future, that's up to us.
Exactly. Great way to put it.
This whole deep dive, It's been like an exploration.
It had.
We haven't found all the answers.
But we've definitely asked some good questions.
That's what we do here. So, before we go, one last thing to think about. Something the article kind of made me wonder.
Okay.
If Bitcoin actually did hit $100,000, how would the world react? I mean, really, what would change in our lives?
That's a great question to leave people with.
Right. The future of money, maybe even the future of everything, it's happening right now.
And Bitcoin's a big part of it.
So stay curious, keep learning, and maybe one day we'll be back here talking about Bitcoin at like $200,000.
Who knows?
Until then, keep exploring, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.